everyone, so it's reading update time once again, and I managed to read 6 books since my last video, which was about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and with a couple of exceptions, it's been kind of a ho-hum, sort of blah reading period for me. But yeah, I'm just gonna get started. The first book I read was Own the Wind by Kristen Ashley. Didn't I just say a couple of videos ago that I really need a break from reading Kristen Ashley because I've been super disappointed in the last few books by her that I've read? I really need to start following my own advice because, yeah, I didn't really enjoy this book either. I was roped into all the hype surrounding this book because it seemed like everybody on Goodreads was reading it and loving it, and I thought, well, maybe this one will be different. Maybe I'll enjoy it more. There's something about her books that are about motorcycle motorcycle club members that I just do not get. I don't feel a connection to these characters, and it was no different with this one. This is a spin-off series for her Dream Man series, which was a series that I did not enjoy at all. That should have been the first clue right there. Yeah, and it's about the daughter of one of the characters from the previous series and her relationship with this motorcycle club guy named Shy. Yeah, and it didn't work for me. It just felt very much the same as her other books that I've read, so it was very disappointing. And I think I ended up giving it 2.5 stars, but I rounded it up to 3 on Goodreads. So yeah. The next book I read was The Siren by Tiffany Reese. This is another book that it seems like everybody on Goodreads that I know has read and loved. And I gotta say, it was okay. It wasn't anything fantastic. It was very strange, very different. The basic premise of the story is it is about a woman who is an erotica writer, and she is trying to move into like the big time as far as publishing goes. And she has to present this book that she's working on to this guy, this sort of highfalutin editor. And if he agrees that her book should be published, she will get signed to this publishing house. And if not, she basically has to start all over again. And she, of course, has many, many secrets in her closet. One of them is that she is a practicing dominatrix, and also that her books are sort of kind of inspired by her relationship with her dominant from the past that she was with for a very long time. So there's all kinds of like stories inside stories and a lot of different elements going on, and it was kind of confusing at times, kind of boring at times. Although I have to say that I was like invested in the story. I did end up liking most of the characters. There's also this subplot where she's got this 19-year-old college student living in her house, and she tries to flirt with him, but he's a virgin, but he's secretly in love with her, but she doesn't know, or she kind of knows, but yeah. There's just all kinds of things going on in this book, and it was a little too much. Again, I gave it 3 stars. Okay, so after I finished The Siren, I kind of needed to read something a little bit more light and fluffy and not requiring so much brain activity. So I figured the perfect book to do a reread of at that particular time would be Twilight. Yeah, I haven't read these books since they first came out, and since I bought the white edition with the red page edges, I decided that if I was going to spend the money to buy these again, I was going to read them, damn it. So I was actually very pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed rereading this book so much. It was nothing but trashy goodness, as I'm sure all of you are aware. There's nothing overly brain stimulating in these books, but it was exactly what I needed at that time. I just needed something fluffy to read. And it reminded me how much the characters of Bella and Edward were not nearly as annoying in the books as they are in the movies. So I think that's part of the reason why I kind of shut myself off from the whole Twilight thing, because I just did not like the movies at all. However, I will say I really, really wish that when I was reading these books, I did not keep picturing Rob Pattinson and Kristen Stewart in my head, because I enjoyed them much more before the movies came out, when I had my own images in my head of what these characters looked like. But having said that, I very much surprisingly enjoyed my reread of this book. So yeah, it was good for a nice, fluffy, trashy read. I read some really strange and differing kind of books over the last couple weeks, man. Okay, so the next book I read was called Willing Victim by Kara McKenna. This book was sent to me by one of my friends on Goodreads. Anyway, she sent me this book, and it was different, all right. It was an erotica story about this guy who likes to he's an underground fighter, and there's a lot of stories going around about underground fighters for whatever reason lately. And he meets this woman who decides that she wants to be dominated, but not only dominated, she wants to be hurt. And yeah, it was a little intense. One of the very first scenes in the book is this woman, the lead character, going home with the fighter and this girl, and she watches them have sex. Really rough, kind of unsexy sex, in my opinion. And yeah, so it was a very short book, and that was pretty much the only reason why I finished it. Yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm pretty much up for anything as far as reading goes, but this was just a little strange. So yeah, I gave it 2.5 stars, rounding it up to 3 again. After that, I finally finished this book that I've been listening to on audiobook for over a month, and it is Succubus Blues by Richelle Mead. Richelle Mead is better known for her Vampire Academy series, which I've read the first book in that series, but this is her adult series, and it's about a succubus named Georgina Kincaid, who works at a bookstore, and she's obsessed with books, and her favorite author is this guy named Seth, who writes this sort of adventure or thriller series. He's going to be appearing, doing a book signing at the bookstore that she works at, and she is so obsessed with this series that the new book that came out, she only allows herself to read 5 pages a day because she wants to make the book last, which sounds sort of like me, although I would never be able to force myself to only read 5 pages a day of a book that I love. But there was a lot of humor, there's a lot of characters that I really enjoyed. Georgina's sort of partners in crime. She's got this an imp, she's got a demon, she's got a couple of sort of strange vampires that she all hangs out with, and plus a couple of angels thrown into the mix. And the whole plot, the sort of mystery, is that she thinks there's a vampire hunter sort of hunting her and her friends, and she tries to figure out what's going on. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I really liked the humor. I liked the characters a lot, and I really liked the reading, like the narration. I'm not big on audiobooks, but I joined Audible lately, so I'm trying to get into it, but it's a little difficult because I enjoy the act of reading a book myself. So, but anyway, yeah, I liked it, and I definitely plan on reading more in the series. So I believe I gave that book 3 stars, or either 3 stars or 3.5. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Okay, and then the last book that I read was the book that you guys picked for me to read in my Pick My Next Read, this new thing that I'm doing on my channel. I offered up 3 books for you guys, told you a little bit about them, and then I had you guys vote on which book you thought I should read next. And the winner was Painted Faces by L.H. Causeway. It was pretty close between this and Girl of Nightmares by Kendari Blake, but this one ended up having a few more votes than the other one. And yeah, there's not much to say about this book because I did a video review for it, which is already posted, so I will leave a link to that in the drop-down box. But this book was fantastic. I feel so incredibly fortunate that you guys picked this book for me to read because it was exactly what I needed at exactly the right time. I love the characters, the storytelling, the world building. I just wish this book was like 1,000 pages long because I didn't want it to end. And as I said in my review video, I have a massive book hangover because of this. I cannot focus on any other book. Every other book that I've tried to pick up and read since I finished this book, I've not been able to get into because I can't stop thinking about this world. I can't stop thinking about these characters, and it's driving me a little batty at this point. I'm going to do another pick my next read video when I'm done with this one, so hopefully you guys will be able to help me with my little problem once again. So that's pretty much it for this time, you guys. I really thank you all for watching my videos, for putting up with my babble, and as always, I love you guys so much. You're the best, and happy reading, guys. Until next time.